Sacred woman I am, with bare feet I walk across the river's stones. Water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been so long, 10 years.
It has it been 10 years? Blink of an eye, Michaela. Blink of an eye.
Yeah. I was thinking about it and I was like, because it was around 2014. It's 2024. So it's 10 years.
Honest to God. I mean, they say time speeds up when you get older. Not that I want to believe that, but I mean, there's sometimes I'm thinking something was just a couple of years ago and people have reminded me, no. That was well before the COVID thing.
Oh, yeah. Way before. Yeah. We met at the airport on our way to Avalon.
Oh my goodness. And you know, like I still talk about that time. That was an amazing trip. Like we were in Glastonbury together. So that's how I met Michaela the first time. Yeah. So it was a really special, lovely trip that I still talk about. So they were good times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I still remember those times. Oh my God. And everything, like, from, the people there and the place and every work we were doing with the garden.
Yeah. No, it was an amazing journey and a journey that we've never probably stopped doing.
Oh, no, absolutely. Especially now that we're going through menopause, I feel like the journey is getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Women, and especially when we have been doing so much inner work, and the way we go, the more powerful it seems to be, and everything.
Absolutely. And that's it, I suppose. Really it's just ever changing. It's just that our journey has changed now and we've changed along with it. And I suppose it's just trying to find that way of just transitioning as gently as possible. Isn't that right?
As gently as possible. That's what I'm trying to do. Because sometimes I was even feeling into it this morning. I was coming out of my yoga class and I was feeling like, the difference between 1 week and another, how things change so quickly and how I'm trying to move in a more gentle way through my ups and downs, through my, the ebbs and flow of my energy. But sometimes because I'm in this journey in perimenopause, it's so intense and it started to feel like, why is so intense now? And I'm feeling like last week I had my bleeding, I had my period, and it was very, very intense. And I felt like, it's because it's perimenopause. What's left to shade is going to shade.
And that's it. And I suppose, when you're on a journey, it's all about the ebbs and flows. And, we really have to, go with the flow. And sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's easier. But I mean, this is the journey we're on. But firstly, thanks so much for inviting me to come on today, because I've really enjoyed listening to your podcasts, and they've been really informative and really good, so it's great. It's a great thing to be a part of. And I think, in today's, especially today, I think it's so important now more than ever for people to find their tribe, and more people are just finding each other, and it's just helping that journey that we're on just that little bit easier.
And what, it's like when we find it's not something that you look for, the tribe comes to you somehow. It's just, it's so incredible. Because, you meet people along the way, friends and, sisters and brothers coming, going from your life. But, people that stuck with you and people that come to you. And and there's this moment, I don't know if it's the moment we are living on my personal journey, but I feel like, I have people that have been with me for a long time, but other people are coming towards me now. And these are men I really want to work with, and I haven't been looking for them. They're just...
I'm just always so fascinated of that, I suppose, the butterfly effect, how, someone may say a certain thing to you and all of a sudden, you'll either be introduced to someone or, I'm just always fascinated. And even since way back when I started on this journey, it's always fascinated me that, we're always taking these baby steps to get us to where we're meant to be.
Yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely. Baby steps are important. People think sometimes, oh, we have to do, I have to do something huge and big. It's the first tiny step you take that makes a difference, because
absolutely,
that's no return. As soon as
and sometimes those baby steps is the biggest learning for us. That we can, like, even that trip to Glastonbury that we took. It was, I was so excited about going. I hadn't been before, and but I mean, it was so much more than just a weekend away with a great group of women. So even something like that can lead you down a different path and a different journey.
Yeah, and you don't realize when you are in it. The learning.
Yeah.
Afterwards, all the things that you have absorbed, they start to unfold. They are going to, be seen around you. You're going to see things and people that that come from the journey and lessons.
Absolutely, and things can just subtly go in, and then a few days later, or it could be a book that you've picked up in the bookstore, or and you start reading it, and something, so I mean, nothing is by accident.
No, absolutely
that is certainly my belief, and even when you contacted me to do this, I began telling you, well, I'm on my menopause journey now, that's the stage of my life that I'm at, and in the blink of an eye, Michaela.
I know. Sometimes I go like,
yeah.
When did it start? When did it happen?
But as you say, it's the wisdom years now. So I'm happy now, that I hope I have a bit of sense now, more so than I had years ago.
And as I was saying, we're shedding the past. So whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, we are basically. So yeah, absolutely. Kathryn, so I just want to ask you, can you talk about your work, what you do, where you do?
My work, well, I suppose I was just thinking actually this morning, I was saying to myself, my God, it's only when you stop to think when you're doing something like this, like my journey, through what I'm doing now probably began, it is probably 24, maybe 25, about 1999, my journey started. And I basically, like, I was working, I was a hotel receptionist for 9 years. Now, even though I loved my job, but what I loved meeting people, and I loved the people I worked with, everything. But what I didn't like was the unsociable hours, the weekends, the long hours. So it just really began very subtly, as I said, and a thing came through the door for a local meditation group, and I went along, and it was actually run by a former drug user. And I just loved his story because he was just so open, and he was a young guy, but he was just older than his years. I mean, we've met a lot of them over the years, but he was definitely an old soul. And he just simply put it. He kind of went, "But if you're in something and you're doing something that you're not enjoying, why are you doing it?" And I kind of went, "My God!" And he was older than me at the time. So it began from there, and basically, I don't know if people remember, back then there was a building society, I think it was called First Active, or it could have been even before then, but they used to give dividends to their customers. And when the next dividends came along, I took it and I ran and I signed up for a diploma in massage. So that was the start of it. And in or around, actually, it was probably 6 months, maybe near to a year afterwards, then I moved from Dublin. So I live the country now. Country bumpkin I am now, but and everything kind of changed around that time. So I left that life behind, and I set up Enfield Healing Centre. That's my workplace, and the rest is history. I went on then to study all sorts, from massage to reflexology, aromatherapy. But as I was saying earlier, I just think everything leads you on this journey, and everything I've learned in my past has obviously led me to where I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that you said got me like, so you started in 1999 and you were a hotel receptionist. My story. I was a hotel receptionist, and this journey started.
I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah.
in Italy, and I was, it was 1999, because I still remember it was the end of the century, and I didn't know, I wanted to change my life. I didn't know what to do. I was going through a tough time, and I started to do yoga. That was my beginning, and I did it myself with a book. So that's how I started.
There you go. And that's it. Like, I think, you know, the self-help books were just starting to thrive around that time. And I don't know which, it could have been Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That could have been it. But, you know, I just got more and more into it. And I just started realizing, look, you know, no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself, you know, and,
so,
you know, give yourself the power if you want to take yourself out of situations. You know, it's great to get help, but at the end of the day, everything starts and ends with us.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Kathryn, you do reflexology, and you do sorry, something come up here. Sorry. So you do reflexology. Obviously, you work with a lot of women that are going through menopause, and you are working probably on yourself as well with reflexology. And you know, because you're going through this process as well. Can you tell me a little bit about reflexology, how that work, you know, with menopause, the symptoms, to manage them?
And I think, you know, even through the years, like it's always the way, isn't it? Like attracts like, and you know, say even when you get a car, and if it's a white car, you see all the cars seems to be white that's driving around, but for whatever reason, again, obviously because of what I'm going through personally, that's what I'm attracting a lot of people going through menopause. So a lot of my clients would be going through menopause as well at the moment. But it was nice actually to, you know, I actually asked my clients over the last few weeks, because when someone's coming to you for a long time, it's actually nice to remind them, you know, what it is that they're coming for and what they hoped, you know, initially making that phone call to come for a treatment, like what was it all about, you know. So I actually enjoyed, and I actually ended up writing down some of the things that my clients said, you know. So one of my clients, like, well, her biggest symptom, and that's what I'm always fascinated with, Michaela, because you put a group of 200 women together in one room, and I mean, no two are going to have the exact same symptoms. It just fascinates me, because it's so, you know, broad, you know, one size does not fit all, you know. So people, and like that, if they're having this symptom this week, it might change next week. So that's why I love the whole holistic approach to menopause, you know. But my client came initially, you know, because her biggest symptom was lack of sleep. And she was just saying, you know, every single time she had her session, she would always notice she'd sleep, you know, well for a few nights after. And then obviously life would get in the way, stresses would get in the way, and, you know, she'd be back to square one. But she found that reflexology really benefited her sleep. And then I asked my other client, and she said it supports her to balance her nervous system, which in turn regulates her hormones. And it gives her energy, vitality, and joy. And she actually said to me that it is now an essential part ingredient in her overall self-care, which is great to see, because, you know, it just, I'd be so happy when people take time for themselves, you know, especially women, because we all know we're nurturers and we want to fix and give, and, you know. So I love when people say to me, do you know what, I'm just here for me. I'm here to give back to myself. And so that's what that gives her. But my other client, I asked, and it was so funny, I thought it was brilliant the way she described it. She feels that reflexology gives her a feeling of calmness and balance, but it gives her that whoosh release. So I'm kind of saying, wow, it's good to get a whoosh release, isn't it? But so I mean, over time, like obviously you build up relationships with clients as well, and you see differences in them. And you know, I suppose from the different therapies that I offer, you know, it's just a tool. You know, I just always feel that, you know, coming and making that decision of having, you know, complementary therapies in one shape or form, it just nearly just gives the body just time to rebalance. And we know that when we're in a state of balance, it's so much easier then to maybe make that phone call to, you know, go see a specialist, or to sit down and have a time to read that book and research, you know. because we're in a balanced state.
Yeah.
So I just feel that, you know, complementary therapies, whether people go down the road of HRT or not, you know, it complements other things that they can do as well. So it just, I always find it like just that reset button, you know, that will bring about then the body just allowing itself to gently go back into balance. So it will give us the energy then, hence to face what's coming our, you know, our way on a daily basis.
Yeah. And that, and exactly, like, you know, sometimes, you know, as a woman, I know, you know, we tend to have the weight of the world on our shoulders and hips, and we bring and carry this weight, you know, our life. But then we come into perimenopause and menopause, and we realize, what the heck am I doing? You know, that's not a weight to carry, you know? And then, so the reset button, the time for ourselves, you know, becomes a really, really important step, you know, to understand our body, our energy, how we work even more than before. And, you know, and finally say, you know what? I'm going to do this for myself, because if I can't replenish my cup, I'm not going to be able to help anyone else. So, you know,
and that's it. And like I was saying, that's why it's so important to find your tribe. And I suppose, you know, as whatever you're going through at, you know, at that time, it's great to, you know, especially to have another woman, you know, or someone that's going through the same thing as you. And I suppose it is great that, you know, you can't turn on anything or read anything now without the word menopause being mentioned, which it's about time, you know, that we can actually freely and openly speak about menopause, and it's acceptable now, you know. So people are talking about it more, you know, and especially in this Irish culture, you know, people are so private and shy, and, you know, they don't want to talk about how they're feeling, and they feel, oh my God, you know, I shouldn't be telling people, like, you know, my symptoms, or so it's really giving people, you know, and there's so many good podcasts about menopause, you know, and people are just bringing it to more and more to the attention of others, which is great.
Which is great, because we need to do this, you know, because even like, you know, there's much more now, and there's so much information, but sometimes I talk to women and I feel like they don't want to, they feel kind of ashamed about it a little bit. So they feel like, you know, anxious about it, because they're going through different things. Obviously, mental health in menopause can be challenging for some women. So they feel like, you know, they have to isolate themselves and don't want to talk to anyone. But, you know, it's, as you said, finding our tribe, finding other women that are going through the same, finding women that can support you while you support them at the same time as well, you know, it's just very important. And this like, you know, it's menopause, you know, everything comes up. It's like the shedding of everything, as I was saying before. So everything comes up to get released.
Oh, that's it. Like, and I mean, I suppose sometimes you just can't get away from it, you know. It's, and I suppose they call it the raging hormones. So you know, it will bring up stuff, and it is great to kind of have the support of somebody, you know, that can help you through that time, that you know, can safely guide you through you know, anything that has been put, you know, kept in or locked in, you know, that it's a nice time to just kind of release all that, you know. So
and do you work on your feet? You know, sometimes I do that at night.
Well, I mean, that's the great thing, you know. And that's what I love about reflexology, because like a lot of times I send my clients away showing them points on the hands, and, you know, it's fascinating, you know, the way that everything in the body is mapped onto the feet, but it's also mapped onto your hands, and it's also mapped in your ears, your face. So, I mean, when you think about how, you know, like when we say, if we bang our toe, it's just within us anyway to bend down and just to rub our toe anyway. So, you know, it's in us to do this. We know, you know, we actually know. But so I mean, you know, I even as a child, I used to sit there and I used to rub my ear, you know, and not even think anything about it. But little did I know that I was soothing, you know, especially around the earlobe, like soothing all the head area. And so it is amazing. But it is great to be able to do some self-care too. So like simple techniques like on the hands, you know, can just give people back their power then, that if they are, especially with anxiety, you know, how simple, nobody even knows what you're doing. That's what I say to people. Just sit there in the evening and, you know, press a certain point on your hand, and you know, after a couple of minutes you can actually feel yourself starting to relax. So you know, it's good in ways that, you know, it's it gives the power back.
What's the point in the hand? Let's say
so I suppose the solar plexus would be like a really good point, because obviously that's that little clump of nerve endings that they're just above your belly button. So again, going back to, you know, when we feel it in our gut, you know, that's our power center, you know. So that's where all these amazing sayings come from. You know, I have a gut feeling about something. So the solar plexus is so important. So I always get people just to kind of, you know, cup their hand like this, and there where the little dent in their hand is, more like that's where the solar plexus is, and just to apply you know, a little bit of pressure. And I even just, you know, in a circular motion, it's so simple to do. You know, and as I say, after a few minutes, you know, and sometimes you just get into the habit. You know, my family slag me, you know, I'm there and I'm pulling at ears and pressing here, and but you know, anything that helps, because what I love about reflexology is it's working on the nervous system. You know, after a few minutes you can't help. I love looking at my clients' feet, because the feet just tell a story. And you know, after a couple of minutes, like it's amazing how the feet just, you know, they just surrender. You know, they really just say, okay, it's time now, just to let go.
It kind of makes you think, like, you know, when we do these little things on little works with our hands, you know, little tricks in a way, and it's like feeling, you know, the power it is in our hands. You know, you just, you know,
absolutely, like, and that's it. Like, there's, you know, there's points all over, just like acupuncture. You know, it's I suppose I describe reflexology, it's nearly like acupuncture without the needles. You know, even I'm a huge fan of acupuncture as well. I love acupuncture for menopause, but reflexology, I just love the way you just have to lie there. You know, you don't have to move. You know, and even though I love massage, like I'm a massage therapist as well, but there's just something about reflexology, you know. And I actually love, you know, more and more, there's so much more research been given to the likes of reflexology as well. And even in the maternity hospitals now, they're actually recommending reflexology throughout pregnancy, which is great to see. But you know, it's good that, you know, there's studies that are done that can actually back up this information as well, which is brilliant to see. So they've done, like, I love reading studies on how reflexology has helped through menopause and sleep. I've read studies of reflexology and how it helps with cardiac rhythm in the body, you know, through menopause and anxiety. And so it's great to be able to read that as well, and know that, you know, there's more and more studies been done in it.
No, I'm telling you, I love reflexology as well, because as I was saying before, when I started my path started with yoga in 1999. Then I came to Japan in 2000, and in 2004, I think, in 2005, I studied massage and reflexology as well. So it's something that you know, even if I don't practice with clients, these other things, it's something that I still practice on myself. You know, the of the feet, of the hands, even when I'm my crib, it's soothing, it's relaxing, it's surrendering.
Absolutely.
And
the amount of people that actually do just study it for self-care. You know, that they just want to either, you know, work with their family, or, you know, just to work on themselves. And it, as I said, it just gives them that power, you know, to do it. And I suppose you know, you just can't beat the power of touch. You know, the power of touch is
like, we're bored, you know, the power, the hands and the skin of our mom. You know, it's
that healing. You know, I mean, it's within us all, you know, to do. And I mean, you know, when the child is sick, you know, again, like rubbing your toe when you bang it, it's just in us to, you know, to stroke a child's head, and in turn that it makes the child, it soothes the child. So you just can't deny the power of touch.
Even when you're sad, like you know, you sometimes, you know, I feel like doing this, you know, just, you know, feeling my heart protected somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely it's in us. You know, we know what to do. All we have to do is just become quiet enough to, you know, to hear those subtle, you know, like, you know, we're always trying to be told things, but if we get quiet enough, and then even, you know, it's amazing even during treatments what clients, you know, would say after treatment, because they've allowed themselves that quietness, and because they've allowed that hour to themselves. You know, again, like I do even see the change in them. Like they're different people. Their eyes are brighter walking out the door than, you know, like a lot of my clients would come from work, and, you know, they've busy lives, and they come stressed, and, you know, by the time they're leaving, because, you know, they take that breath, like, and it all starts with that breath, you know, just to kind of settle themselves. And, you know, it's just so important now more than ever, you know, to just take time.
Yeah, take time. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And Kathryn, you also work with flower essences and herbal essences, don't you? Yeah, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I work with Australian bushflower remedies. And I suppose one of the good things, if you can say that, about the last few years, you know, when the world stood still and we were all locked down, was, you know, I had worked with Australian bushflower remedies probably back in, God, probably in about 2008, as far as I remember. But I suppose, you know, I loved them from the minute I started working with them, but life got in the way, and I probably went down different avenues. But my time then, I spent most of 2020 retraining. I was actually going to go, Ian White is the founder of Australian Bushflower Remedies, and he was actually coming to Ireland. And I was planning on going, you know, to one of his conferences. And anyway, the world went in a different direction. But then he decided he'd do it online. And, you know, at that stage, I wasn't a great fan of online learning, and I just love, you know, hands-on, been in person. But, you know, even look what we're doing today, how things have changed so much, and people are embracing Zoom more and more now, which is brilliant. You know, it's good. But yeah, so I signed up, and as I said, I went through the whole year just retraining in Australian bushflower remedies, and that just ignited the passion for them again, because they're just so subtle. You know, I suppose a lot of people know batch flower remedies, which is rescue remedy that you can buy in chemists. And over the years, like, I would have taken that myself and studied in batch flower remedies as well. But there's just something about the bushflower remedies. I just love them, and I just find, you know, they work so well and work so quickly. So yeah, so it was great then to be able at that time, you know, to be able to help people, because I was able to post remedies. And the one thing I found was that a lot of mothers were contacting me saying about social anxiety for children. So, you know, there was different remedies that I could make up for children, and it was just so good to get the feedback, you know, from the mothers. And, you know, like, they work on physical and emotional, and they're brilliant. But like, again, then when I started my own menopause journey, I was able then to rely on them, you know, as a part of my self-care as well. But I actually have my woman essence here.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I have that. Yeah.
I love the woman essence. It's just so subtle, you know. And there's times when I take the likes of, this is emergency essence. So just, you know, like the woman essence, I would take that like for maybe 2 weeks to a month, and I might have a little break, and then, but in between, I love the emergency essence. So that would be for the times when anxiety, you know, the hormones are up and down, you know, that you can take that as well to just kind of settle everything. So so they've become a huge part in the work that I do as well. Because I'm an aromatherapist, I can make up like sleep sprays using the bushflower remedies and essential oils and, you know, creams and stuff. So I can bring that, you know, so everything kind of fits, you know. I can use the remedies along with the reflexology, I can, you know, use it as a foot balm, and everything kind of marries well together.
Sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to have one. No. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, I love reflexology. As well as like some people don't like when they have when someone touches their feet. I just love it so much. I tend
oh, me too.
Sleep,
me
but
too.
going that state between wake and sleep so quickly with reflexology, it's just it's amazing.
Yeah, and people always say to me, oh my God, like, you know, I don't like my feet. How can you work with people's feet? You know, and I just love what I do. I really love it, because I just find, you know, with reflexology, I just love the way it just brings you right from your head down to the soles of your feet. And our poor feet, like, I mean, God, they get such a bashing. we just were on them all day and walking around, and you know, they just, you know, they get forgotten about sometimes. So I'm a huge fan of feet.
Well, yeah, we have to remember that. I mean, every night, you know, before I go to bed, I always have time for my feet. It's that's my little ritual before going to bed, among other things. It's just, you know, I'm on my feet, like training and exercising, maybe working, maybe going places, you know, and even at home cleaning the house, I'm on my feet, obviously. And and then, you know, and since when back in 2019 I had my accident and I couldn't walk, I just realized, you know, why I don't think about my feet that much. You know? Then you realize, you know, after something like that.
And that's it. I suppose we just need these little reminders, because, you know, I suppose that's like what I was saying to you, when we come into balance, it actually gives us, you know, that energy to think about or do the things that we're kind of avoiding. So, you know, sometimes when we're in that pain state, we don't even think of something as simple as this little thing that I showed you, like while we're sitting, you know, watching a program or listening to music, it just goes out the window.
Yeah, even work, so, just doing the simple, you know, in front of a computer all day, let's say, you know. And
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be complicated, self-care, you know, and it's amazing, because I mean, I suppose it's just taking that time to say, you know, like, this is an important time in my life now, and I have to give back to me. And whether it's having a nice bath, or, you know, because I suppose the work that we do, it's so important that we walk the talk, you know. So if I find myself getting stressed, I say to myself, right, Kathryn, come on. What are you doing? Like, you can't be telling your clients these and going in another direction. So I have to give myself a talking to quite a bit as well.
Oh no, I understand. No, I mean, like, you know, we do this work for a reason, like, because it works on ourselves, you know, it works for us when we work on ourselves. So, you know, we have to do this. Otherwise, we wouldn't even, if we don't do the work, how can we understand how it works?
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. So like it's good to kind of build up a little toolkit, you know, which I felt I've built up over the years. And again, things that people have taught me, and, you know, and when, you know, as I said, it's good even for like my own self-care to take from my own toolkit, you know, as I said, one week it can be one thing, and the next week, you know, symptoms can be completely different. So it's good to build up that knowledge of what can help, because as you say, not everybody likes reflexology, not everybody likes anyone near their feet, you know, like, everybody's different. And my advice would be to seek out a therapist, you know, and try, like, don't be afraid to try something, you know, for even once, just to see, because you know, the amount of people even saying, like, say if someone has bought them a voucher, and they'll come along and go, I'm not sure now about reflexology, I don't really like my feet, and I don't like anyone, and like 10 minutes later they're going away. And they're a huge fan, you know. So I'd always say to people, and especially at this time, like, you know, people that are going through menopause, self-care is so important, be it going to a therapist, or be it setting aside that time, you know, to have a nice bath, or, you know, but whatever it is, you know, just whether it's going for a walk, you know, reading a book, but to allow themselves on a daily basis that self-care, to build up that self-care ritual.
And that's the thing, daily, you know, it's not you do once in a while, no, it should be daily. It should be a reminder for you how to love yourself and reconnect with your body. and it should be done daily, you know, as much as we can.
Oh, 100%. And I suppose I was only having a conversation with somebody recently about the power of the day. Like the amount of times I've heard that. But I mean, when you think about it, when you break it down, you know, that just for today, you know, say even if you're trying to build up a habit, you know, that's how you do it. It's all in the power of the day. So just for today, I'm going to, I don't know, not go on my phone after 7 o'clock in the evening and see how you get on. And, you know, it'll take, but, you know, it'll form a habit. Or just for today, I am going to, you know, have a bath, or I'm going to do one thing with self-care. You know, and before you know it, you'll build up.
Exactly, builds up and then becomes something that you do it without thinking about it, so it becomes part of yourself and your day, and that's the way.
And that's it. I suppose, you know, we get in our own way, don't we? We just complicate things all the time, and you know, things can be actually quite simple. I know they're not simple when you're in the height of pain or the height of stress, but you know, even just taking a few deep breaths, it's amazing. And just centering yourself, something as simple as that, you know, can just, in a matter of minutes, can just flip everything on its head.
It doesn't have to be big, just little things.
No,
every day, you know.
No, or expensive, you know, like, I mean, we think, oh God, I'll go on a retreat, or I'll go on, you know, here, or I'll go there, you know, but as I said from the start, everything starts and ends with us, you know, and we'll all find something that we enjoy, you know, and as, you know, just to find whatever it is that is for you, be it reflexology, or, you know, a sound bath, or walking, or baths, or whatever it is.
About the sound bath, because I know you do sound baths as well, and the first time I experienced a sound bath was in Glastonbury in the UK.
Oh wow! Oh God, what a place to have a sound bath!
Oh my God! You know, we were close to the Tower, and in this beautiful B&B, and you know, the lady there, she did a sound bath. You know, she had this amazing voice, and I since then, you know, every time I can, you know, if there is sound bath around me, I go. It's just the vibrations of it. It moves through me. It's just so powerful. So, you know, when I am in the states where I feel like, you know, hormonal changes in menopause, you feel like so much anger coming up, you know, I have these waves of energy, you know, in a sound bath, you don't do anything, you just surrender to the vibration, and this energy like sweeps away.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you
so you probably have your whoosh release like my clients during a sound bath.
Oh my God, I do. They are beautiful. Sound baths are beautiful, and you know, I enjoy when I can. Obviously, I cannot do that often because you know, you have to find, first of all, I have to find the right place and the right person to go to. But when it happens, you know, that I go. And since the first time I tried it, it was like, oh my God. It was,
and it's amazing how popular, you know, sound baths have become. Like it's really taken off, which is really, really good. And a lot of people compliment yoga now with sound baths, which is brilliant, you know. So it's like a double whammy. But I think my introduction to sound, I think that was probably, oh gosh, it could have been around 2013, or it was so powerful. I did an introductory weekend. It was so powerful, and I just was blown away by it, that it took me actually 2 years to come back and begin the diploma, because I was kind of going, oh my God, I just was amazed by it. I just thought, you know, again, that everything I'd been doing had led me to this, you know. So I had to make sure I was ready. But so I trained, probably finished training 2016, something like that. I can't remember now. God, it's amazing how you forget the years, like what year you did what. But you know, since then I've been running regular sound baths, and then I do one-to-one sound healing with people as well. And I suppose the difference with the sound baths, they're in a group setting, and you know, it's probably like an improvised concert, really, because it's you know, there's a sequence, but there's not, like, you know, there's so many instruments, from Tibetan bowls to chimes to drum to gong, you know, there's so many instruments, and it just depends. It'll depend on the group that you have on that day. It may depend on what comes up in conversation, that the sound will really take on a life of its own, and it'll go where it's meant to go, and then the one-to-ones, you are working with more sound on the body. So the bowls would actually literally go on the body. So the client would get to actually feel the vibration. And, as we know, we're made up of 70% or so of water. And I suppose I liken it to when we throw a pebble into a pond and we see that ripple effect. Yeah. So, especially the gong, like how it washes over you. And I mean, like so many other people, when I heard the term for sound bath, I was going, oh my goodness, like you get into water, like when you're having a sound bath, and a lot of people would think that, but because it's called sound bath, because the waves and frequency wash over you. And I suppose, again, with the sound, like anything else, it's called entrainment. And after a few minutes, you just can't help but just surrender to the sounds. So I mean, I'm so grateful to have come across the wonders and the amazement of frequencies and sound. I'm still just so fascinated.
They are amazing, like especially for women going through all these ups and downs during menopause, just let go and surrender to a sound bath. It's really, really important, I feel like, because it kind of washes away a lot of the things that that get stuck in our mind as well, things that we don't need. Like, we get anxious for little things. I know myself, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night for no reason with this anxiety about something that I wouldn't even get anxious about normally, throughout the day. But why? So,
absolutely.
And so, you gotta surrender to that energy and let the waves of the sound wash away, those stuck patterns and blocks of energy. And it's just, I love it. And I heard, I remember listening to women talking about their personal sound bath, because I would go sometimes to have a personal sound bath, so with on the body, with the balls of the body, and the vibrations, you can feel them. And I was talking about it, and some of the women I was listening to, they were saying the vibrations were so strong they actually experienced an orgasm while receiving.
Wow. Well, if it's happened now, they haven't admitted it to me, but
exactly. But I was like, well, that's this strength of the energy. It's very strong sometimes.
I suppose it depends on how much you surrender, and that's it. Surrender and trust and let go. It's and again, it's just allowing the body. I'm always saying it, when we get out of our own way, and that's what like the body wants to heal itself. It wants to be in balance. But and when there's things happening, it's just so hard to find that balance, and especially with hormones going up and down through perimenopause as well. But another thing, what I love about the sound baths, like I'm always amazed. My dog, I have a little Bichon. Her name is Daisy, and at the end of when I have my sound baths, without fail, she will come up and she will just go around, and she'll pick one different mat every time, and she'll just plonk herself. And I watch her. Because she's just absorbing, that the sounds and frequencies, and that's what I love, because that's what I tell my clients. It actually goes on working after you leave as well, that vibration, so it's just bringing the body back into balance, and the frequencies will go on, after a few hours or days. And I think there's even studies done, as far as I know, with menopause and sound therapy, that I think they did studies on sleep after a sound bath. And I've seen studies of where blood has been taken prior to and after a sound bath, and it's amazing to see the cells changing. So it is good that there's actually science behind the way these therapies work and help people.
Because they do, because I read and watched studies done on sound, and they were showing how they actually can extinguish a fire through sound without using water. So if there is a fire, by putting certain sounds close to the fire dies. So you don't have to use water on it. You know, and it's quicker. It's actually very, very quick. You know, because sometimes you either use water or you have to cover it with a blanket or whatever it is that you do with the fire. But, you know, with sound, it was very quick. And I don't know what happens there. I don't know what the physics behind it.
Oh,
Sound reaches the flames and the flames just die.
Yeah. But I mean, when you go down, like when I started, like I just went right down that rabbit hole of frequency and sound, and I'm still learning. You know, it's just fascinating. You know, and even, you know, I'm sure you've probably seen it yourself when they do the salt and they play different frequencies, how it makes the most amazing shapes. You know, and I suppose it's going back to, have you heard of Masaru Emoto?
Yes, the water. Yeah.
You know, and that was that again back in the day, like that was one of the first books I think that I bought, The Hidden Messages in Water. And like for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'd recommend that you either get the book or just research it online, because it's so fascinating. Just to give it a small background, I think he was he Korean? I'm not sure.
I think it was Japanese.
Japanese, and a photographer, and he would take photographs of water droplets, and he would freeze the water droplets, and then he would, you know, either subject them to nice place, like to monasteries, or he'd take the water from, say, a sacred lake, or, you know, or else he would use words like love or gratitude, and then he would photograph it and freeze it, and then, oh my goodness, he put them under a microscope, and you've seen it yourself, Michaela, the shapes are just amazing. But also then he would actually do the opposite, and he would say the word hate, or, you know, take it from places that of pollution, lakes that are polluted, and they were all distorted. So again, going back to, you know, the fact that we're all mostly water, you know, it just shows you even the power of word, you know, the power that, you know, words can have on the body, and the power that, you know, negative, and that includes our own negative self-talk, how you can actually physically change things by being in a negative environment or having negative self-talk. So that's why it's so important to do so much self-care.
Exactly. But
you know, it actually can change.
In very simple things, like I have a bottle of water I take with me. It's a stainless steel bottle, and I take it with me when I do yoga, or I go to the gym, or I train. And I chose that bottle because on the bottle they have positive words like "be kind."
Oh yeah, I have my my Be Kind water here. That's actually my crystal one. The company is actually called Be Kind.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's not something I chose just because, you know, it's because I knew that, you know, when you even talk to the water before you drink it, and you say to the water, you know, I am feeling you, I'm feeling you with love and light. And then you drink it, you know, that kind of shapes the molecules of what you're drinking. And that molecules, you know, radiating with love and with positivity, and they're going to interact with the molecules in your body, you know.
Absolutely. But I mean, when you think of it, it must be a menopause thing, because I'm going back now, back, and even, you know, saying a prayer over my food now, you know. And I mean, when you think of it, you know, going back, like that's what we did. We prayed over our food, and it was just second nature, you know, grace before meals, and you know, life has got so busy now. We just tend to forget we're always in a hurry. You know, we eat so fast, and there's another simple thing, like you taking your water and the positive words, and, you know, blessing your food. I mean, you know, bless your own food. You know, it's and you know, sometimes when and it's amazing how you enjoy your meals better. You know.
And we forget, as you said, we forgot about these things. But I remember, like, when the first time I did Reiki, and Brian, my teacher, you know, Brian, he was telling us about, you know, you can bless the food that you're eating with Reiki. So, and since then, you know, Sometimes when I remember, you know, I do my chocolate race on the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
day,
yeah.
you know. And at the beginning, when I started, it was so weird. Like, is this okay? Like, you know, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
the more
yeah.
I was doing it, the more I realized what was happening, you know, with the end.
Yeah, but I think the older we get as well, and that's the good thing about, you know, the menopausal years, you do come into that, you know, time that you're kind of going, I don't really care what people think anymore. You know, you'd be kind of going, you know, before, like, but now you just feel it definitely brings that bit of, do you know what, been there, done that. I don't care.
I
I don't care who sees me. So there's lots and lots of positives.
Oh yeah, no, menopause brings up a lot. I mean, you can bring up some pain here and there, but it also brings up a lot of beautiful things, you know. It's like we are becoming, as I was saying before, like, you know, talking to other women as well. You may feel pain, you may feel sadness, you may feel grief, because a lot of things can come up. But what you're feeling is nothing compared to who you are inside, the vastness of your being and who you are. And the more you move through this pain, the more you realize how you know it is, what it is that you're holding inside. You know, inside you there's everything. So we see ourselves in flesh and blood and bones and muscles, with hair, you know, it's skin, but deep within, in our energy, it's the entire universe is within us, you know. So we realize that going through menopause, you know,
without a doubt. And I suppose, to me, I think it's just, I'm so lucky. I feel lucky now to be living in the time that I'm living in now, because, you know, I just think, as I said, it's more open now. Because I was only talking to somebody about menopause a couple of months ago, and looking back now, you know, they were able to see, oh my God, like when I was going through, this was an older woman, and, you know, she was saying all the stuff I was going through then was actually all to do with menopause. And I did not know what was going on. Nobody spoke, or, you know, she didn't even understand herself, you know. And if things were more open like they are now, she probably would have transcended through that, you know, a lot easier than she did. So it's a good time to be alive, you know, at the moment. It is, because, and like, the energies are changing, and everything's changing, you know, as like changes is a given.
Exactly. And the thing is, you know, sometimes, you know, and I feel like I'm losing my mind when I get through the very extreme depression and anxiety states. And then, you know, I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. And then I feel like, you know, suddenly right after that, I realize, you know, I don't know who I am anymore, because I'm not who I was before, you know. So I'm releasing all that, you know, and to become my new authentic self, really. And what it is, just, you know, everything and nothing at the time. You know,
and I suppose it's just knowing that you aren't on your own. Whereas I suppose, you know, the generations before us, they probably would have felt, oh my God, I am the only person feeling what I'm feeling, going through what I'm going through. Nobody understands. And when you open up to someone, you know, and you kind of go, oh my God, you feel that way too. Oh my God, I'm not mad, you know. That's exactly how I'm experiencing things. And, you know, it just makes it so much easier.
You're never alone. Either that we are with people, or if you believe in, you have a guardian angel, you know, you are never, ever alone. You know, the energy is there with you, either, you know, in the form of a person close to you, or in the form of their energy close to you, but we are never alone, ever. So we cannot, we may feel separated and alone, but we are not. That's the stage of our human state, feeling separated.
And that's it. Like, I just think, you know, there's something for the way, there's somebody for everybody, there's something for everybody. And, you know, whatever kind of a journey you're on, be it any time of your life, but especially in menopause, you know, just to find and to give yourself that time, you know, be it to, you know, if you're going down the road of HRT, you know, going down the road of complementary therapies. But the main thing is to just pause and just realize that, you know, you aren't on your own. You aren't going mad. You know, there's so many other women just like you that are experiencing things that exactly like you are. So to never just to close up and not do anything and suffer. We're not here to suffer, you know. no one should be suffering, and especially suffering in silence.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, if you feel like, you know, vulnerable, depressed, anxious, or something like, you know, is happening, you don't know what's happening, talk about it. It's so, communication is so important. Either talk with someone close to you or in a group of people that are dealing with the same things. It doesn't matter. Communication, I think it's key, especially.
Absolutely. And going back to what we first said, because, you know, that first word will have that knock-on effect. You know, you never know, if you say one thing to somebody else, either they'll know somebody or they'll know of somebody. And again, I think every day I'm always amazed, you know, how that, you know, that one word, that one decision will lead you to where it's going to lead you.
Avalanche, from a little thing becomes, exactly. So for example, you know, someone is suffering, they're coming to you and you're doing reflexology on them, you know, even that just a moment, the touch, that intimate state of, you know, feeling comforted and, you know, and held, you know, it's really, really important, even without words. And then maybe, you know, afterwards they can talk to you, you know, something can
exactly. Because like I was saying earlier, you know, some women just can't even put it into words. They, you know, it comes as such a shock, and it is a shock. I mean, we've had all these lovely hormones, you know, all our lives, and, you know, it doesn't happen that way, but sometimes it can feel like you've just woken up and you're going, where's my hormones gone? You know, so, and it can just turn you upside down. And some people would find it very hard to put into words. So like that, as you say, just, you know, to do something, and you probably don't even need to say the words, you know, just to
be,
you know, just be. That's exactly it. Just like the water, just be.
Just be, just be and surrender, and, you know, and whatever, you know, you see someone, you know, you feel depressed and anxious, you have hot flushes, you feel many different things. You know, I experience cold flushes sometimes, which is a very strange thing, but it happens.
But this is what I was saying. Imagine you in a room with other women now, and they're going, cold ones.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's just different, but it doesn't matter what you're experiencing. You know, when you go and see someone like a therapist, or you do yoga, or you do meditation with someone, or you talk to a friend or a family member, just knowing that, you know, there is help, there is support. You're never alone, really. And
and that's it. I suppose, you know, it's really kind of taking your power back as well, because, you know, in my belief, the creator gave us everything that we need, you know, and you know, I know I'm repeating myself, but, you know, as soon as we just stop, breathe, and go inside, sometimes that's all it takes to just give us that message to say, you know, I'll do this, or I'll try this, or, you know. So I mean, we have everything that we need.
Oh no. So Kathryn, thank you so much. If you want to give one last message to women going through perimenopause and menopause, what would the message be?
I suppose I really have been like a broken record. I would just say, you know, just to realize that you aren't on your own, you know, and to just seek out it, as now is the time to find your tribe, and however that looks to you, you know, find your tribe. Always be around like-minded people, and just find something, try something, be it every day. Don't forget the power of the day. Try something, and I guarantee you'll find something that will suit you and get you through this transition.
Wow, that was a great message. Thank you so much.
That just came to me.
Thank you so much. No, that's what was really helpful, especially in this conversation, because women feel alone during this time, you know, and feel like, you know, they don't know what to do, where to go, who to talk to. So having this conversation, I think, was really important. So thank you.
And it's always such a learning for me, you know, when I speak to other people. I think we're always learning. We really are.
That's the of this work, you know, we connect to each other, and, you know, and we share what we know, and, you know, and I learned something new, someone else is learning something new, you know, it's just the way it is. But thank you.
For sure.
Much. So Kathryn, just one last thing. If people want to reach you and book an appointment with you, where they can find you? Do you have a website?
Okay, so well, I'm based in Clonard, and that's just outside Enfield in County Meath. But I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, so people can contact me that way as well.
And what's the page on Facebook?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it's Enfield Healing Centre.
Enfield Healing
Centre. And I think I'm Instagram. I think it's Kat's Moloney. I'm Kathryn Moloney, but my friends call me Cats. I don't know what that's to do with it about. Yeah. So Kat's Moloney, Enfield Healing.
Enfield Healing.
That's Instagram. Yeah.
Great. So thank you so much. And
thank you, Michaela. And continue your great work.
Sacred woman I am, with bare feet I walk across the river's stones, water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.